Admiral Ra. Very good indeed. Rar touched his throat. He'd come to this meeting prepared to defend himself, explain how attacking Sylvanas wasn't sound strategy, that protecting the lives of the prisoners was more prudent, regardless of his conversation with Captain Parchant. Instead, Davis was commending him. If she wanted to knock him off balance, offering praise was certainly one way to do so. "Thank you, ma'am," he stammered. He cleared his throat and reminded himself of his objective. He glanced around the room at the other guards. He almost startled when he recognized one of them, Lieutenant Tantor, who had been stationed on the Vigilant for a short time. She and the other super soldiers had returned to Janus ahead of him and were now serving as Davis's personal guards until it was time for the next battle. Rar wanted to ensure there was no next battle. He took a deep breath. "I am glad you appreciate the importance of the prisoners, and why I had to ensure they were safely delivered to you." Davis remained seated, regarding him with curious eyes. "Lieutenant Karim can still be of some use to us." She activated her datapad. The projection sprang to life in front of her, obscuring her face, but her pleasure was unmistakable as she skimmed the document. Rar found himself studying her desk, anger welling inside him again. The desk matched the bookcases lining the wall, all made of highly polished wood, a material that couldn't be found naturally on any planets in the Janusian Union. Obtaining resources was the reason she'd ordered the invasion of Sylvanas, or so she claimed, but she hadn't cared about helping the common citizen, but rather building up her military and making her own position stronger. She continued speaking. Alessandro Anetti, on the other hand. Anetti's name caused Rar's attention to snap back to Davis. Her expression turned smug. His capture has already paid off. Anything else will be a bonus. She must be referring to the split among the Mahjin, but she was wrong. Now that the majority of the Mahjin had rejoined the Colonial security force, creating super soldiers hadn't gained Davis any advantage at all. Why couldn't she see that? Because she wanted war, and she wanted to win, no matter what the cost. Rar stared her straight in the eye. If the Colonial Prime Minister feels threatened enough to utilize Mahjin again, he might decide to create more of them to overwhelm us. Davis did not take her eyes from her datapad screen. Prime Minister Bennett does not want the Mahjin to actually fight. He wants to control them, which suits my purposes. If Bennett knows where they are located, so do I. And with Alessandro Anetti out of the picture, the Mahjin will once again be the obedient soldiers they were created to be. She glanced at one of the guards standing on the right side of the room. Rar did not trust himself to respond. Davis cut the projection and steepled her hands on the desk. You have done me a great service, Admiral Rar. Your actions at Sylvanas allowed us even more time to organize. Therefore, the Vigilant will be transferred back to Janusian orbit, and you will become my Minister of War to prepare for when the time is right. Rar's skin flushed, and adrenaline kicked through his body. He had spent the past several weeks determined to win back Davis's trust, no matter what. Now, after defying a direct order, she was finally giving him what he'd always wanted. But how could he lead a war he did not believe they could win? How could he lead super soldier troops into battle? How could he damn Janusian civilians to even more suffering as their needs were overlooked in favor of the military? Rar met Davis's gaze again. She regarded him coolly, brows drawn together, corners of her lips turned downward. She didn't trust Rar at all. She wanted to keep him close so she could watch him. He bit the inside of his lip. That was fine with him, because he no longer trusted her either. He took a deep breath and forced a smile onto his face. The super soldiers in the room would be able to sense if he was lying, so he told Davis the truth. I am grateful for this assignment, ma'am. I will do whatever it takes to aid the citizens of the Janusian Union. Davis cocked her head, blue eyes assessing him. I am certain you will. Rar looked at his boots, shined past regulation status, and gave a curt nod. Not in understanding, but in determination. He was done being manipulated and underestimated. He'd modeled